How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. You can find me, as always, at Dalton_Trigg on Twitter. You can find the pod account at Step Back Mavs. The day is here. It's lottery day. The Mavs, they have a 3% chance of jumping up and grabbing the number one overall pick, which would allow them to either draft Victor Wembanyama or entertain what would be, in my opinion, some insane trade offers. I'm still on team take Wemby and run, but I can understand the argument for if that happens. It's like, okay, well, the team's lacking a lot of depth, a lot of young depth to build alongside Luka for the foreseeable future. I don't know. I mean, maybe you get a trade package you can't refuse from somebody. The Rudy Gobert trade. I had somebody comment on the video yesterday and said that they felt like they were in the minority and that could you imagine what a Victor Wembanyama trade would be based on what the Rudy Gobert trade was last summer? And I get that. I mean, I can kind of see how, the reasoning is there. I do think in enough time, people will realize how bad the Gobert trade was. And I think expectations will be adjusted because of that. It's like take OG Anunoby with the Toronto Raptors, for example. I don't think anybody's going to be trading, 3 first-round picks for him anytime soon, especially given the contract situation. There were some rumors that, the New York Knicks might be a team to consider doing that. I don't think they're going to do it. No, maybe Memphis. I could see Memphis probably doing something like that. But, it's hard to gauge players' actual value, when talking about first-round picks, because first-round picks are at an all-time premium. They're something you just don't want to give away for nothing. And, the Mavs, they're in a situation – it's really a franchise-altering night for the Mavs in Chicago tonight. You hate that it has to come down to that, but that's just what we're looking at. They've traded away so many picks since 2018. They had horrible lottery luck that first year. They had the third best odds in the Luka draft in 2018. They fell to fifth and had to trade up with the Hawks to actually get Luka at third, and they ended up trading a 2019 first-round pick to do that. So they had a chance, instead of having a chance to add another young piece, another young lottery-level piece in 2019, they didn't have that pick. So, and that's part bad luck on the lottery, and that's also part, bad decision by the front office, because if y'all remember correctly, the Mavs had the opportunity to swap Wes Matthews for Kent Bazemore. And at the time, and I've made this argument for years, I thought Kent Bazemore was probably the better player at the time, based on how both guys were playing. And I would have done that. But the Mavs didn't want to take on an extra year of salary with Kent Bazemore because they were looking ahead to the Giannis free agency that never happened. And so they opted to trade the first round pick instead. So it is what it is. And then things have snowballed since then. You had the awful 2019 free agency. You had the 2019 draft. So after they had that bad luck in 2018, where, you move from third best odds to the fifth pick, then in 2019, that protected pick for the Hawks, there was a 3-way tie between the Mavs, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans. And it ended up the Pelicans getting the number 1 pick, getting Zion Williamson, the Grizzlies getting the number 2 pick, and getting Ja Morant, which, that's not going good right now. Amazing talent, but, he he just has like this thing for wanting to wave flash guns on Instagram Live. So that's not good. He's probably going to get suspended for a good portion of next season since it was his second offense in 2 months. So yeah, in hindsight, with now that I'm talking myself through this, right in the middle of talking my way through this, I'm starting to wonder if the 2019 draft was really that bad for the Mavs or not. Because Zion Williamson has hardly played any games. He can't stay healthy. Even though the Pelicans have a ton of potential if he would stay healthy. And then you have all the off-court issues with Ja Morant. So, hey, maybe the Mavs didn't need that pick after all. But anyway, it would have been nice to jump into that top 4 and to add another high-level talent, young high-level talent next to Luka. Kyrie Irving's great. Him and Luka together, they put up historic offensive numbers in the limited time they played together. And I think that can continue going into next season. But you got to fill in, the pieces around them. And with Luka on a supermax contract and Kyrie Irving on a near max contract coming up, assuming, because I don't see Kyrie Irving taking a discount, given everything that he's gone through over the last couple of years and losing the Nike deal and all that. He wants to get paid. He wants to be on a long-term deal and he wants to get paid. So, having Luka and Kyrie on those type contracts, it's going to make it hard. It's going to make it hard. And you only have one. You have the pick. If you keep the pick in the lottery tonight, you have this year's pick that you can trade after you make the selection. And then you've got the 2027 pick, first round pick. And then that's it. I mean, you traded your 2029 first round pick for Kyrie Irving. That one's unprotected. You have no second round picks for the foreseeable future. Like the next 6 or 7 years, I believe is what I saw. Like, it's just, there's really not that many ways there's ways to add talent, but there's not many ways to compile the number of guys that the Mavs need to fill every hole. Not in one offseason, at least. I mean, you have to make some trades, recoup some assets, and then later on flip some of those extra assets you got for more. Like, you just have to, it has to build. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm very curious to see how the lottery goes, because I feel like, the Mavs' luck has been so bad that they're due some lottery luck. But I don't know, the NBA, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but, there's a lot of people saying like, oh, I don't see the NBA letting the Mavs win the lottery because they tanked the last 2 games of the season. And I'm just thinking like, how does that make sense? How does that make sense to punish the Mavs for tanking 2 games at the end of the season when you have teams like Portland and Charlotte, and given Charlotte was pretty good in the last half of the season, but you have teams like Portland and Houston and San Antonio, these super tank teams for like the last full half of the year. Why don't they get punished? I mean, why is it just the Mavs for 2 games at the end of the season when if they would have won those last 2 games, they still wouldn't have made the play-in tournament? Make it make sense. It does not make any sense to me whatsoever how there is so much outrage over how the Mavs treated those last 2 games. Am I an advocate of tanking? No. Do I understand why they did it? Yes. I mean, why would you want to win those last 2 games when the chances are you aren't going to make the play-in tournament anyway? And if you do win those last 2 games and miss the play-in tournament, there's a 90% chance you give your pick to the Knicks. And the alternative to that is losing those games because you're not going to make it anyway. And then you have an 80% chance to keep that pick. I mean, 80% chance to keep it, 90% chance to lose it. It's an easy choice. So I don't know. I don't understand why it's such a big deal for the Mavs and they should be punished and all these other tanking teams just get a pass. So that's my take on it. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist just because of that reason alone. Like, surely Adam Silver and the rest of the league, like they have enough self-awareness to know that there are bigger fish to fry than the Mavs messing up 2 games nobody cares about at the end of the season. So, and also, like, did anybody watch the Mavs from like February through the end of the year? They could have played Luka, Kyrie. They could have played everybody and still could have lost both of those games. Like, why are we sitting here, saying that even if they had played all those guys, they still would have won? Like, did y'all watch the team? They were horrible. They were a train wreck for the last part of the year. So, it is what it is. Okay, so a quick recap before we get things underway later tonight in the lottery. Individual percentages per pick. So, for the first pick in the draft, Mavs have a flat 3% chance. For the number 2 pick, 3.3%. Number 3 pick, 3.6%. And number 4 pick, 4% flat chance at the number 4 pick. Altogether, they have a 13.9% chance of jumping into the top 4. Now, look, I don't know how they, construct all these odds and everything, but I just know picks 5 through 9, the Mavs have no chance at. It's 0%. There's no chance. You're either going to stay at 10, drop, below 10, or jump into the top 4. That's the options for the Mavs tonight. So 13.9% chance to jump into the top 4, 65.9% chance to stay at number 10. And then you have a flat 19% chance to drop to number 11, which we're greatly hoping doesn't happen, because that's like a doomsday scenario. As much as we had to suffer watching Jalen Brunson kill it for the New York Knicks in the playoffs before they got eliminated by the Miami Heat, I don't think we need to also suffer by turning right around and giving the New York Knicks a first-round pick, a lottery pick. So, hopefully we avoid that. I might, I'm pretty optimistic about the Mavs, even when I probably shouldn't be, according to a lot of people. But if that happens, I might turn into the Joker. So we will see. And then they have a 1.2% chance of getting the number 12 pick, which is, let's see. Well, I was about to say that's the last pick they had a chance at. They have a greater than 0% chance of getting the number 13 or 14 pick. So it's not 0, but it's not enough above 0 for them to list the actual numbers on Tankathon. So that's what we're looking at. So more than likely, it'd be the number 10 pick, but they do have a chance. They have a near 14% chance of jumping into the top 4. So we'll see how it goes. I have a good feeling about it. Maybe I'll regret saying that tomorrow. It wouldn't be the first time, but I feel like we're due something here, something big, and I hope so. I hope Victor Wembanyama is suiting up with Luka to start next season. So, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your lottery day. I do want to do a few things before we take off. The first is I'm doing a sponsorship with Manscaped, and I have a beard hedger it's their new product that they do. Just want to share that with y'all. It has 20 different length settings. It has a titanium coated T-blade, 60-minute runtime. It's waterproof and durable. And you got hold on. This is very professional stuff by me here, I know. You've got a precision zoom wheel adjustment. So there's 20 different length settings, and you can do that, in one. You don't have to switch out guards and all that stuff. You just rotate it. It's awesome. I love it. I had like 2 different razors that I used to do that stuff, and I had like 2 different guards on it to keep from having to locate the right guard lengths that I needed every time. And now I don't have to do that. I have this, all-in-one deal, and you can have it too if you want it. Go to manscaped.com, use our promo code MavStepback, and you'll get 20% off and free shipping. So if you want to take advantage of that, please do. Let me get my screen set up here. I'm also going to share what we've got going on at DallasBasketball.com. Give me just a second here, guys. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna have a how to watch thing up here in a little bit, but basically we have something up from my guy Michael Mulford, Josh Green's Mavs future core roster piece or trade bait. And he's got some more of these coming too. It's basically like season reviews, but it's also looking at these guys' futures and their current contract situation, and whether the Mavs should keep them or try to trade them. So definitely go check that one out. We also have a lot of other stuff. I wrote one about trade or keep, the many options that await the Mavs depending on the lottery results. Wrote that one yesterday. Our guy Grant Afseth wrote about the Mavs draft lottery history being among the unluckiest of all time, which is insane. And it's why I have good feelings about tonight because surely, this won't keep up, throughout Mavs team history. And then, Grant had another one talking about NBA analysts said that Kyrie Irving's trade is haunting the Mavs, which I don't agree with, but it's not really about Kyrie Irving. It's about what they had to give up to get him and, still suffering from that lack of depth. So, but yeah, go to DallasBasketball.com, scroll down through here. I wrote a piece and linked yesterday's pod to the thing about the Mavs having that lucky horseshoe that Nico Harrison's probably going to bring with him and have on stage, I would imagine. But we did that. We're doing like general playoff previews and recaps, and there's a lot of trade speculation about DeAndre Ayton, and there's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff at DallasBasketball.com, so be sure to go check that out. Guys, we appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday and a great rest of your Tuesday. And we will see you first thing Wednesday morning. I'm still getting used to this YouTube thing. I know there's a little bit of bumps in the road. I'm trying to get better at these other window transitions and stuff like that. So bear with me on that. I will get better at it. It's been a while since I've done this, but it's going to start being a more routine thing for me. So please be sure to go like, rate, and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We have like 1.1 thousand YouTube subscribers now. So that's awesome. I appreciate y'all. And we appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next time.